Hello, lovely people, and welcome. Thank you so much for visiting my channel today. Today I'm doing a fairly simple, straightforward Dutch pour, but I'm doing it with a black background, and I'm going to do it on the diagonal. So a Dutch pour is a liquid fluid acrylics method using a hairdryer to blow the colors out. Basically, you start by thinning your paints out a fair amount, and what I use for that is Fluotrol. So I dilute my paints about 3 to 1 Fluotrol to paint for this. I want my paints fairly thin so that the blow dryer will be able to push them around quite easily. And I use roughly 3 Fluotrol to 1 part paint, and then I thin that out a little more with water. And for this, even I could probably have done a bit thinner. I ended up having a little bit of trouble moving the paints around, so maybe next time I'll try thinning it out a little more. But anyway, what I do is I start with trying to get a nice even coat of my background color, whatever that's going to be. In this case, I'm using a black from, I believe, Liquitex. Pretty much all of my paints here are Liquitex, except for the gold, which is from Golden's. And all of them are mixed up, like I said, in Fluotrol. And then a few of the colors, some of the blues and some of the greens, have silicone added, but not all of them do, just a couple. And that helps make cells show up later on. Again, that's not always necessary. The blow dryer blowing the paint around does a pretty good job of feathering out the paint on its own, but I had these paints left over from some work I was doing with swipes, which I do use silicone for, and I think it helps out in these too. It kind of just depends what you want it to look like. It just looks different. So I took a variety of paints I had left over. These are mostly in the green, turquoise, blue, there is a yellow, and gold range. And I used, I believe, 2 different shades of green, or blue-green, 2 different shades of blue, and a yellow, and the Golden's gold. And my camera is very confused by the black background and really doesn't know what to do about color. But that's the way it is. In the photographs at the very end, you can see the very true color of what actually the paints looked like. So, yeah, I fiddled with the lights a little bit trying to get that to work better, but they really didn't want to cooperate. Anyway, I basically just take the paints, and I decided I wanted a diagonal this time, and I just layer a bunch of different colors, and I believe I did each color twice, just so that they mix up and are irregular. And I think that's the gold going down there. And then when I was done putting the paints down, I took the black and poured a little bit of extra black paint on each side of this line of paint I have here. So here I am. I'm just doing that on each side. And from there on in, I can take the hairdryer and start by pushing the black paint a little bit over this little thick stripe of paint that I made, and then using the blow dryer to push the colors out and see how they mix as they go along. And you can see I'm having a little bit of trouble, especially in the upper right, getting the colors to move all the way out the way I wanted them to. So what I ended up doing, since I didn't like it very much after fiddling with it for a bit, was I put a little bit more paint down and just did that area a second time. And so I put down the colors from the various little leftovers I had in my cups. I tried to use up all my paint. And again, my camera's flipping out. I'm really not sure why it doesn't like this setup. I did do another video at about the same time, which it was perfectly fine for. So I really have no idea why it's so confused. But anyway, I laid down the more paint, put down a little more black, and then did another round of blowing out the paint with the hairdryer, and this one I liked the results a lot more. It came out much, much closer to what I wanted. And then at the end, I took my little kitchen blowtorch, butane torch, and I used it to pop air bubbles and to help any silicone that's left in the paint rise up to the surface, bringing up little cells with it. So you can see there are some cells. Mostly I'm getting lacing from blowing the paint out, but I also get some cells from the silicone rising. The center of the bottom edge, for example, looks like it has some nice cells in it. And after that, because I have cats, I go through and look for any residual cat hair that has decided to float into my wet paint, pull that out, and then I let it dry. And so I took some close-ups of some of the areas so you can see much better what the color looks like. And after it's dried, and I think it came out pretty nice. It's kind of interesting. So, as always, thank you so much for visiting. Please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. If you like this, please hit the like button. If you aren't subscribed already, please do subscribe to my channel. And be well. Thank you again so much for visiting. Take care.